Have you ever watched someone give their all and still get laughed at for not being perfect? That's not feedback. That's cruelty dressed as authority. Today's story is one I carry with quiet urgency. It's about condescension. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that hides behind rank and leaves someone feeling small. This kind of behavior doesn't just bruise egos, it breaks spirits. Because when you shame someone for trying, you're not just failing as a mentor, you're failing as a human. I want to share the experience of Peter, a cadet on board MV Terraine, who gave his best during a safety drill, only to be mocked for not knowing everything. If you've ever worked in a place where effort was dismissed, where learning was met with ridicule instead of support, this video is for you. Let's talk about why undervaluing someone's effort isn't just unfair, it's harmful, and how choosing respect over ego can change everything. On the first week of November, a cadet named Peter had the opportunity to participate in an abandoned ship drill. He was a beginner in his chosen profession. He did his best to absorb those teeny tiny bits of information when his co-workers taught him new information about the ship. He completed at least half of his one-year contract, and he knew he still had a little knowledge about the things around him. MV Terraine was underway in the Atlantic Ocean. It wasn't a busy day, so the captain informed the crew to perform an abandoned ship drill. He was aware that it must be conducted on board ships as a standard regulatory and safety practice. He participated during that time, but when his chief mate asked him to explain the different methods of launching a life raft, he trembled because he did not know how to explain every single thing about it. He still endeavored to express his ideas, but instead of helping Peter understand the procedures and theory, the chief mate shamed him and made him a laughingstock in front of his colleagues. So Peter narrowed his vision to his safety shoes and listened to his superior's condescending comments. He analyzed what went wrong and why his chief mate undervalued him. He knew that he offered his best even though it did not meet his officers' expectations. Condescension is a form of disrespect. Condescension is toxic behavior on board ships. Sometimes it occurs as a result of people expecting perfection from others. No one is exempt. Whether you are a beginner or an expert, several people confuse it with constructive criticism, but these are two distinct concepts. You cannot expect positive feedback from condescending. Condescension is never acceptable. It creates a work environment of negativity and distrust, which hinders progress and growth. When you condescend, you're trying to establish dominance or superiority over others, and this behavior is very toxic. It can make people feel inadequate, insecure, and defensive. If someone exhibits condescending behavior, it's important to address it early on and communicate its negative impact on the other person. On the one hand, constructive criticism is meant to support growth and improvement by offering useful, actionable feedback. But that doesn't mean you should criticize someone behind their back or shout at them before giving it to that person. Respectful dialogue should always come first. Again, it's essential to recognize the difference between the two and actively promote a culture of respect and collaboration. Remember, everyone has something valuable to offer, and everyone deserves kindness and respect. Celebrate what goes correctly. The takeaway here is simple. Never discount, condescend, or undervalue someone's effort, whatever word you use for it. No matter the outcome, when someone puts in the work, there's a quiet hope that others will recognize it. And when that effort is met with ridicule instead of respect, it doesn't just hurt, it discourages growth. You don't need to shout. You don't need to criticize behind someone's back. What you should do is act with compassion. Because when you choose to honor effort, you're not just building others up, you're also building a better version of yourself. Hence, in the same way, you should not degrade or base the value of a person on the volume of information he has in his brain or the amount of work he performs. When someone makes mistakes due to incapacity, always attempt to be more compassionate by paying enough attention and celebrating what goes correctly. When educating someone you encounter along the way, you can decide to put your ego aside and act courteously. For example, if you mentor a new crewmate who is struggling to grasp certain concepts, instead of belittling his intelligence or questioning his worth, You can take a compassionate approach by offering additional guidance and support without expecting something in return. By celebrating small victories and acknowledging efforts, you can create a positive learning environment that encourages growth and builds confidence. This way, you prioritize the individual's development over your ego, fostering a respectful and courteous relationship. By doing things this way, again, you're not just improving others, but you're also improving yourself. If Peter's story resonated with you, if you've ever been made to feel small for trying, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Respect isn't earned by perfection. It's built when we choose to see effort, not just outcomes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you believe more people need to hear stories like this. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and keep growing.